Censorship 2022 has gotten off to a phenomenal start here with Jason Husk. So as you guys know, I had my very first YouTube video pulled down, which was asinine. The whole scenario behind it's a bunch of bullshit, just simply based on the tags and the search optimization of that particular video had it pulled down. Well, yesterday I received notification of a post I made on Facebook that was being pulled down for harassment and bullying. Now, this post was just one of my regular memes that I create, that I type things out. I used to type them out on Twitter, but I wasn't going to offer my support to Twitter anymore, so I downloaded the app called Getter, which is supposed to be the Twitter killer. And what I do is I just type out my random bullshit thoughts, the weird things that I think in my head, and I type them out on there, and then I screenshot it, and I put it into a square frame, and I post them that way. I just like the way the format of that looks, so that's how I do it. Well, this particular post was about me wearing gray sweatpants. This was actually 1 week ago. I wore a pair of, I have 3 pairs of sweatpants, and they're like dark charcoal gray, and 2 of them are light colored gray. I happened to go to Lowe's, and it was like 38 degrees outside. I had to go to Lowe's to pick up some hardware for something here at the house, and as I'm walking up to the register, it's not a fucking joke, I swear to God, the lady at the register, she sees me walking up, and she looks straight down. Eyes go directly to my crotch. And I kind of giggled, but at the same time, had that been a guy standing there at the register and a girl was in a pair of yoga pants, there would probably be something else, said. There would be probably some more offense. Of course, some big thing might have been done about it. But me, I kind of made a joke about it, because I guess that's what guys are kind of told to do. We're supposed to just laugh that off because, at the end of the day, I don't know. I guess it's expected that it's okay that guys are kind of treated that way. I wasn't really offended. I thought it was sort of funny. So I made a meme about it, simply saying that I went to Lowe's and I wore my sluttiest gray sweatpants. Now, clearly I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about anybody else. But the caption, that when I posted it, I put it on Instagram and Facebook. When I posted the picture, I put up there, I just simply said that, hey, breaking news, as if people don't fucking know this, that women are just as bad, if not worse, than guys. Now, coming from a guy who's very irreverent, with all my friends, when we sit around and talk, we talk about anything under the sun. But I can honestly tell you that we don't get very raunchy. We don't get very sexual when we're talking, we may talk about women and things like that, but we don't get into detail about the sexual nature of, our significant others. When I was married, would never talk to anybody else about, sexual activity between my wife and myself. Maybe kind of like, nothing specific, just saying, if there's a conversation, hey, yeah, we would have, sex every day or something like that, but nothing specific about the actual act. But women, they will tell you that women are way worse. The details and the stuff that women will talk about and the way they talk about other people is way, way worse. And so this was just a really tongue-in-cheek kind of comment on the fact that, hey, you do see all the posts about men wearing gray sweatpants and women looking out for that. And, and I get it. A lot of it is a joke, but the sexualization of men does exist, and women do it just as much as men. Now, I can tell you, for example, going to the gym. When I go there, I go do my own thing. Of course, I will notice other people. Of course, I will notice women. If there's a beautiful woman in the gym, of course, I'm going to notice her. But I don't stare. That's just not me. I've never been that way. I just kind of go about my business. But of course, you do notice a good-looking person that's there, in yoga pants or a tank top or something like that. Of course, you're going to notice that. But I just don't sit there and stare. Now, I have, and of course, I've posted videos of myself working out, and you can clearly see people in the background staring at me while I'm working out. The videos that I typically will post is something of me doing a heavy deadlift or a heavy squat of some kind, and you will see there are women in these videos that you can clearly see watching and staring at me while I lift. Of course, it's from every once in a while you'll catch a guy that's in the video staring at me. But if a woman was videoing herself at the gym and you happen to see a man watching her work out in the video, the comments probably ripping this guy apart would just be endless. And again, I'm not, I guess the way I kind of look at this is that I'm not physically worried about a woman. And I guess that's what a lot of women say. A lot of women say that, well, the difference is that, men, yes, there's the sexualization on both sides, but men are physically stronger, so a man can impose himself onto a woman. If a man has the potential for taking it too far. I totally understand that. But that doesn't change the fact that, hey, these things happen to men. And so my post that I made was literally making fun of myself. I wasn't degrading anybody else. I wasn't saying anything about anybody else. I didn't say the person's name who worked at Lowe's or anything like that. Hell, I saw this same person today at Lowe's. I was in a t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans, but I happened to go to Lowe's again today, saw the same exact person there, and she didn't look at me the same way she looked at me when I was in my gray sweatpants. And hey, I'm not holding anything against her. She may, I get it, whatever. It's not like I wasn't offended by this whole thing. And I took it as a joke. But Facebook pulled the post down, telling me that it was bullying and hate speech. So I went and I appealed it. I appealed it and said that, I think that they misunderstood it. I was literally making fun of myself. Well, they came back within 10 minutes and they said that the removal is being upheld, that my appeal has been denied, and they're not going to allow the post to stay up. Well, I'm not the kind of person who's just going to leave it sit there like that. I don't believe that what I put up there was degrading towards women. Again, I was making fun of myself, and I certainly wasn't harassing anybody. I mean, I guess can I harass myself? It's kind of an odd fucking thing, but that's where it is. That's literally what it was. And so there is apparently a completely separate entity that Facebook either works with other organizations, other social media websites. They work with a complete external organization where you can further your appeal. You can have everything reviewed. I don't know if anybody else has ever gone through this, but I went through it. I'll actually pull it up on my phone here. I took a screenshot of it so I could remember it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. It's called the oversight board. Literally, it's called the oversight board. You get a like a claim number, if you will, serial number, and you go through this oversightboard.org. And you have to answer all these questions, like 14, 15 questions, and you have to type out a bunch of different stuff, literally explaining what your post was about. And then at the very end, one of the questions it asks you is do you think that your post is defend or working towards the benefit of an underserved community, or if your post has some type of social significance. And the reality is no. A lot of the shit that I put up, that I type, again, it's just crazy, outlandish, weird shit that comes to my mind. Whatever it may be. Sometimes it may be funny. Sometimes it may be socially relevant. Sometimes it's just a thought that I've got in my head, and I just put it out there. So I don't think that it had anything to do with that, but I certainly felt like we're living in this state now where I've never had anything pulled down off the internet. I've been very blunt and honest about the things, how I feel and the things I say. But now there is censorship that's going on, and it's all fucking automated. It's being done through algorithms. It's not even being really done by human beings. These are not fact checkers. I don't have labels being put up on my post saying that, this is, maybe misleading or be, unfactual. I have an algorithm taking my stuff down solely based on like some metric, like I'm saying something that triggers some type of fucking warning siren somewhere, and they decide that it needs to come down. That's just insane to me, considering how I guess just fucking real I have been about the things I post and the things I say. That something like that, again, my video on YouTube being taken down because I quote the CEO of Pfizer. I have something taken off Facebook because I'm making fun of myself wearing gray sweatpants. I mean, I've used horrendous language on social media, but I don't point it at anybody else. That's just not who I am. And that to even further that is in this conversation on this post on Facebook, somebody kind of took it the wrong way, and she started going down this road of women have more to fear in being sexualized than men, and she started going down this direction of I guess just kind of nullifying what I was saying. I mean, like I said, what I said was a joke, but it was a real thing. This was something that happened to me. I'm putting it out there that I was being sexualized for wearing gray sweatpants. And this woman, and I hope that she's never been harmed or injured by a man, but it did sound like she had been. And so therefore the women's plight is greater than a man's. And I think that in itself is kind of why men just don't say any fucking thing. I would venture to say that probably sexual assaults are probably equal amongst the sexes. I would say that probably just as many men get sexually assaulted as women do. Maybe not full rape, but as far as a sexual assault goes, look, men do attack other men, and women do attack men. Like I even explained in the post was that I can't tell you the amount of times I've been, when I was in my early 20s, where I have been in a club or a bar and a woman would walk right up to me and literally just grab my fucking dick. Like I'm standing at a bar and a woman would literally walk right up and grab my crotch. I've never done that to a woman. I've never walked right up to a woman and just grabbed her crotch or grabbed her boobs or anything like that. Never done something like that. But I can tell you probably happened over a dozen times to me. I can tell you that women, when we'd been in a club or something like that on a dance floor, I've had my face grabbed by women and they grab me and try to kiss me. I've had that happen numerous times, and I've never done that to a female. But I never one time reported any of these incidents. I never one time went to the police or went to the manager of a bar or a bouncer or anything like that. And I guess the answer to that was that I didn't feel physically threatened. I didn't feel that I was physically in danger from these women. And she did make a valid point that a lot of women, obviously that the reason they do report it is that because they feel physically in danger from the men. And anybody should report a sexual assault. Anybody should, in any way, feel if they feel they've been sexually assaulted, they should report it. But men overwhelmingly don't report it because a lot of times it's this belief that women can't rape a man. Now I can tell you, I don't believe that I've ever been raped, but I can tell you that I'll tell you about a situation last year where I was dating somebody, and she happened to be on the phone, got into a fight with somebody on the phone. I went to bed, and she was outside talking to somebody on the phone, got into a fight, and I was in bed asleep. And apparently because she got so worked up by what happened on the phone, but by this fight, she, I guess that she just needed to take it out on me. And so she came into the bedroom and woke me up. Well, of course, was she wanted to have sex. She was making it very clear at that point she was going to have sex and take out. So the next thing I know, she's on top of me. That's a real situation. Now, can I say that she raped me? No. But can I say that I wasn't sitting there, there wasn't a consensual conversation about us having sex. She was upset about something. And that's a real life situation. That kind of stuff does happen. Of course, as a guy, you're like, oh, great, I'm having sex. But that kind of stuff does occur. And unfortunately, it does also happen to women. I shouldn't say also, unfortunately, it happens to women. It's not right. And of course, there's a lot of different scenarios. Obviously, in my scenario, I wasn't injured in any way by her forcing herself on me. Again, I wasn't, I didn't feel in physical danger at any given time. And I wasn't injured by, like I said, by her forcing herself on me. I do understand that when it's the other way around, when a man forces himself on a woman, that a man would injure the woman, causing, tears, vaginal tears. As a guy, it's awkward to say those kinds of things. But I do understand that a man can injure a woman, but sexual assault is not one-sided. It's kind of like the conversation I've had with somebody about racism. Somebody told me, along these lines, where someone said that a man cannot be raped, a man cannot be sexually assaulted. Yes, of course a man can be sexually assaulted. That's fucking ludicrous. But it's the same conversation I've had with somebody that says black people can't be racist. Because like rape and sexual assault, racism is based on power and control. And because a man has more power and control than a woman, the man is only capable of raping the woman, whereas black people apparently believe they don't have power, so therefore they can't be racist because racism is about power. And I think that's a ludicrous fucking argument, because black people do have power. They're powerful people. They're amazing people. They're fucking human beings. They just have a different color of skin. They're no different than me and you and anybody else out there. They just have a different fucking pigment to their skin. They are powerful, and they're beautiful, and they're wonderful, and they're just as every bit capable as any other color skin out there. And the same thing applies for women. Women, I say this, and I've said this numerous amounts of times, women are every bit as capable, if not more capable, than men in every scenario other than physical activity. So you say, okay, well, rape and sexual assault is about physical activity, but that doesn't mean that women aren't capable of it. Again, when I say that women are better than men at everything other than physical activity, that doesn't mean that women are bad at physical activity. I gave an example about Erin Jackson. She is the #1 long track speed skater in the 500 meter in the world, but she's still nearly 2 seconds slower than the fastest male out there. She is capable. She is amazing. She is a beautiful athlete to watch. That doesn't mean she's not capable. And in reality, she's probably better than 95, 96, 97% of all the other men in the world. There just happens to be a small percentage of men that are better than her. the same thing applies for sexual assault and rape. Women are every bit as capable of it as men. Women are every bit as sexual as men. And so what I was trying to say in my post was simply that, hey, I got sexualized for wearing a pair of gray sweatpants. I thought it was funny. I laughed it off. I really, truly did. But if you're going to take the argument there, if you're going to take it down that road of, well, I shouldn't really say anything because women have it worse, well, that's like telling me that I'm at fault. That's like literally blaming the victim. Did I look at myself as a victim? No. In the greater scheme of things, should I be told I can't wear gray sweatpants because it's my fault that women are going to look? No. Hey, I'm sorry. I don't skip leg day. I'm going to fill out my fucking gray sweatpants a little bit. I don't know. I fill out my blue jeans. I fill out my shorts. There's nothing I can wear that's not going to... It just is the way that fucking is. So I had, and so Facebook pulls this down and I have to go through this whole fucking appeal through the oversight board. And I'd never heard of this before. If anybody watching this has ever heard of that, comment down below. Let me know if you guys have heard of that, because I've never heard of the oversight board before. Now, I'm not sure if it was because the nature of what they pulled my post down for is that I had the opportunity to go through this. I'm not sure if every post out there has the same opportunity if it goes through an appeal and it's denied. But the main reason that I went through this process is because just like on YouTube, I know that there is a certain number of these strikes you can get, and the next thing you know, you're getting a ban. Now, I've never been kicked off of Facebook. I've never been kicked off of Instagram. I've never had anything restricted whatsoever. And so I don't want to. Now, I'm not going to slow down on the shit I say. I'm not going to back off on who I am as a person. I'm never directly nasty at somebody else. And I will tell you, in fact, on that post, I actually deleted someone's comment who was directly nasty at that female. She has every bit of the right to comment and make her piece known, whether it's on my page or somewhere else. I did say to her, I said, hey, look, you may not like what I'm saying here, but I'm going to say it here. And if you want to, you are more than welcome to carry this conversation onto your own page, and you can create the narrative in any form or fashion you would like. But this is mine, and I'm going to say what I would like to say, and I'm certainly not going to agree with the narrative that only women are sexually assaulted. But I know that Facebook does have a some type of strike rule that if you have certain amount of posts removed, if you have things pulled down, if you get so many warnings, the next thing you know, you get a 3-day ban, then a 5-day ban, then like a 30-day ban, things like that. You have your ability, you can get online and you can see things, but you can't post anything. You can't comment on anybody's stuff. You can use Messenger, but you can't, use Facebook and interact with stuff. You're allowed to like people's stuff. You just can't comment on anything or post any stuff yourself. Well, I don't want to go down that road. So But I've been very, very clear that I don't believe in attacking anybody, directly. I can have a conversation with somebody individually, but I do believe in that, especially over the last 1.5 to 2 years, there's been a disintegration of people's ability to have civil discourse. And I didn't want to lower myself to that. I could see that people were being very vicious and attacking left and right. And I didn't want to lower myself to that. I wanted to say, hey, look, I don't have to agree with you. In fact, I don't agree with you. But I'm going to be professional about it. I'm going to be polite about it. And I will create a reasonable conversation. And if you prove that you're incapable of having a reasonable conversation, well, that's on you. And everybody else can see that. And there's certainly going to be people that will agree with that other side. But at the same time, no one's ever going to be able to say, oh, well, see, he's an asshole and he says these, he called me names and he did. I'm never going to do that. So that should never get me banned. I should never end up getting banned because I'm not going to go on there and call someone a fat cunt or, sloppy whore or any of this other stuff. I'm never going to say those kinds of things to people. I have I have the ability to speak without swearing. I just happen to like swearing. And I certainly don't have to do it directly at somebody. You can make general conversations about about an overall group of people and, say that someone's being a fucking asshole. Or you can say that, hey, people should stop acting like fucking assholes, but you don't have to go right at that person and say, hey, you're a fucking asshole, because that's what's going to get you banned. The rest of the stuff is just, it's just kind of out there, and it's just kind of, generalizing, I guess, so to speak. But, like I said, the censorship, it's insane to me. It's fucking insane that we're 3 weeks in. Today's the 23rd of January, and I've already had 2 posts on 2 different social media platforms taken down for algorithmic-based censorship. Nothing. It even told me in the Facebook review or in the Facebook removal of the post that they don't have enough people because they've dedicated so many people to combating misinformation for COVID-19. We got to get that narrative out there. Got to make sure we combat that COVID-19 misinformation. And they're not just doing it on YouTube. They're doing it on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. They have dedicated the majority of their people, the majority of fact checkers, we'll use that as a generic term for across the board for all these social media platforms. They've dedicated the majority of their fact checkers from around the world to COVID-19 misinformation. Insane. Why? That's fucking insane. So what they're telling me is that what I put out there is now only being monitored by a computer, and a computer is supposed to somehow interpret my intention as well as my feeling and how I have directed things at anybody in the past without any further review whatsoever. Fucking insane. It's absolutely outrageous that that's the direction we're going. And again, we're only 23 days into 2022. So hopefully, as we go further down the road, and we have, and hopefully COVID takes a less central focus on so many other people's lives. I got to tell you, you live here in Texas. You live in a place like Texas. You live in a place like Florida. COVID doesn't really drive our lives here. Went to a brewery yesterday. Nobody's wearing masks. I went to 4 different stores today. I went to Academy. I went to Kirkland's. I went to At Home, Home Goods. I went to Lowe's. Not one time. Nobody's wearing a mask. We're just going about our fucking lives. And so hopefully the rest of the country will get to that point too, where your lives aren't so fucking just overwhelmed. Like maybe everybody will start waking up and, okay, hey, all right, we can go about our lives. Hopefully everybody will get to that and live like the way we are here in Texas and in Florida. I mean, everybody calls us really fucking backwards, and they think about us as a bunch of, idiotic, rednecks, backwood hick, inbred type people. That's Arkansas. It's not here. But we're living our lives the way we were supposed to live our lives according to what the Constitution has given us, our ability to live free and exercise our freedoms within this country. That's the way it is here in Texas. And I know for a fact in a lot of these other places around the country, they're not like that. They're everything they do focuses and centers around COVID. And I hope, and I'm sorry for a lot of you guys out there, anybody watching this that's, not in Texas and Florida, in places like California and New York, where you guys, everything you do has to be focused, and your entire lives are steered and guided by COVID at this point. And I'm fucking sorry for you guys. I mean, you guys are just going through so much shit, and it's not getting any better in your own states, and it's not states like us. It's not people like us that are causing the fucking problem. Apparently, it's within y'all's own state. And it seems to be a lot of fucking bullshit centered around your politicians. So hopefully, as we seem to be getting through 2020, as things seem to be kind of winding down, and maybe some of the effects on everybody are kind of lessening, and people are kind of waking up. I mean, I read something today, a guy literally said, he says, I look back at the people who didn't obey the lockdown orders for the last 2 years, and I start to think that I probably have wasted the last 2 years of my life. That's fucking crazy that somebody actually has to come to that realization after 2 years of this bullshit. That sucks. So hopefully with that side of the, things around the world kind of winding down, with, the reality of where we are with the pandemic and the severity of everything, that we stop seeing so much censorship. I mean, I will say that there is actual news, not all the time, and it's still a lot of, sensationalization and a bunch of other bullshit, but there seems to be actual news coming out of CNN now. Like, actual reporting. And it's not about doom and gloom. It's not the skies fucking falling. Chicken Little is not running around, and everything's going to be destroyed. There's actually some news reporting coming out of CNN, and it seems to be based on some facts. And hopefully that will start having a shift on the narrative in our country, because the people that watch Fox, the people, that aren't watching CNN or MSNBC, don't seem to be having the same meltdowns as people that do watch CNN and MSNBC. They don't seem to be having the same fucking problems. So hopefully with some actual news coming out of CNN, some things will change. But censorship is on a fucking rise. We saw it really, really bad last year. We saw so much going on with censorship and everything going on around the election. And now it's being completely automated. At least it seems that in 2020 and 2021 that we had people doing it, people that actually could understand emotion and intention, and they could read things, and understand that something was meant as a joke rather than a, statement of fact. At least we had that. And now we have a computer doing it. And unfortunately, that's probably going to be the norm for quite some time, which is kind of fucked up. Until we can kind of pull that plug back out of the fucking AI, back out of the computer, backing them off of those things. And I actually talked about this a little bit, was this is part of the reason why the government doesn't really come down super fucking hard on organizations like Facebook and Instagram. Well, they are the same thing, but YouTube, Google. The reason they don't come down so hard on is because they're not government organizations. The government can't really tell them what to do. If they want to change their algorithm and it affects huge swaths of society, they can do that. They're able to do that. They can make these changes. And this is an example of it. They can literally change the algorithm like that, and you start seeing all kinds of stuff being wiped out. So hopefully we start seeing, some of that stuff kind of backing off a little bit, going away just a little bit, allowing people to return to kind of being who we naturally are. That would be really good if people were allowed to just kind of be who we naturally are. And then, people are going to say, well, yeah, some people are just naturally pieces of shit. Okay, well, at least you know that. You don't have a computer, putting up some gap between you. You actually learn how to deal with it yourself, like the way fucking human beings and grown-ups are supposed to. So anyway, that's really all I got tonight, guys. If you guys are seeing, the show here, I'm trying to add new features. I'm trying to add new things. As you guys will see, there's a like and subscribe button that's coming up on the screen. Trying to add that. I really do appreciate it. Actually, trying to get the subscription base up pretty up high here. I've got some things in the works, some things I want to do, and I can't do it until I get some more subscribers and viewers. So if you guys like what I'm doing here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, set the reminder, set the notifications so that when I do go live or when I post new content, you guys are immediately notified. And I will end this the way I end every show, is to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody out there, all my friends, all my family, all the people that have reached out and just to check on me on a regular basis. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. And for yourselves out there, don't ever hesitate to reach out to somebody. You never know what they're going through. You never know how much you just checking in on them can impact their lives. I see something, I've seen it many, many times, and it says, hey, who checked on you today? That's right. Remember that. Do you, sis. Basically saying, hey, no one checked on you today, so why the fuck are you worried about everybody else? Well, don't live that life. Don't be that cut off and cold. Check on people. Reach out. Hey, how you doing? Just check on them. Let them know you're thinking about them. You don't have to have great, huge conversations, but just enough to let somebody know that you're thinking about them can change their day. Don't ever hold back. Don't ever be afraid. Don't ever restrict yourself and worry about how someone else is going to respond to it. Just, if someone comes across your mind, you were thinking about somebody, don't ever hesitate to reach out. You never know how you'll make their day. You never know how much better you'll make their day. I will say, hey, look, if you know you're going to fuck up their day by reaching out to them, don't fucking do that. Don't be a douchebag. Don't intentionally trying to ruin someone else's day. Just try to be a good person. Always try to be a good person. That's the goal here. The goal here is to be better, right? We want to be better people. We need to be better so that our children are better and so that our grandchildren are even better. That's the goal. So let's be those kinds of people that we want our kids to be. Let's do better. Let's be better. Say thank you. Tell everybody how much you appreciate them. And guys, I will talk to you soon.